Everyone, can we start today last chapter? AS3. Now, from AS3 now, from cash flow statement, once again they are not asking big question. Why? Because scope is not there for 14 marks question. So I will say either 10 marks maximum. It does not mean they can't ask. Okay. 10 marks maximum, I am saying 10 marks maximum. It means if 10 marks is the question, they will not ask big question. So they are not asking big question in exam. If that is a big question, it become a 14 marks question. Then in that exam, they will not ask question from consolidation or amalgamation. Quite possible. Now I will say for MCQs also this chapter is important. So for multiple choice question of this type of from this chapter question can be asked. So cash flow statement is a statement of inflow and outflow of cash flow from three activities. One is operating, then second is investing, third is financing. Now what is operating activities? Any principal revenue producing activities is operating activities. Means any activities which is for earning principal revenue of the entity, that become what? Operating activities. Investing activities means any acquisition, disposal of long-term asset and investment, but other than cash equivalent. So cash equivalent are also investment, so that is not covered under investment activities. Financing activities means any activity that changes the composition, it is not consumption, composition, right? Composition of equity and borrowing. So if any activity will change the composition of either equity or borrowing of the entity, that is known as financing activities. So when I say borrowing, it is both short-term borrowing as well as long-term borrowing. Chalega? Yes, sir. Now there are some activities which are not principal revenue producing activities and which are neither financing nor investing activities. For example, if I say in this way, sale of scrap material. So sale of scrap material is not a principal revenue producing activity and is not an investing as well as financing activity. So our AS3 says then it will be a operating activities only. So any other activity which are not investing and financing will be also what? Operating activities only, even though they are not principal revenue producing activity. Okay. Now, what do you mean by cash and cash equivalent? When I say cash means cash in hand and balance at bank. But which bank account? Current account. Means any demand deposit with bank will be also what? Cash. But any fixed deposit is not a cash. So cash means simple cash in hand including foreign currency. Then plus any bank balance in current account. Bank balance in current account. So what is cash equivalent? Cash equivalent means any short-term investment. Any short-term but highly liquid investment. Short-term highly liquid investment which are readily convertible to known amount of cash, means which can be easily converted to the known amount of cash, means the amount we know, that amount it will be converted, and which are subject to insignificant risk for the changes in value, means they have no risk of changes in value. That is known as what? Cash equivalent. The best example if I will say is FD, but not all FD. FD whose maturity period is 3 months or less than 3 months. So here short term means 3 months or less than 3 months from date of acquisition. So any FD for more than 3 months is not a cash equivalent. So what do you mean by short term? Short term means 3 months or less than 3 months from the date of acquisition. So if the maturity period is 3 months or less than 3 months, then only it will be cash equivalent. Otherwise it will not be a cash equivalent. Understood? So cash understood, cash equivalent you have understood. Chalega? Yes, sir. Now, when I say cash flow statement, what is the formula? Format is very easy. Cash flow from operating activities. Then we write down cash flow from investing activities. Then we write down cash flow from financing activities. Then the total will be net increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalent during the year. So this total will be net increase or decrease in cash and cash equivalent during the year. In this we'll add opening cash and cash equivalent. So the resultant figure will be closing cash and cash equivalent. This is simple format. Of course, under this we should disclose all the activities in a presentable way. Correct. But to start with, we need to understand there are three activities: operating, investing, and financing. Now, to calculate investing and financing, we always use direct method. Direct method means what? Inflow minus outflow. So whatever cash inflow we have from that activity, from that we deduct cash outflow from that activity, that become inflow outflow, means direct method. But what our AS3 says that for operating activity we have two methods. One is direct method, one is indirect method. Direct method again what? It is inflow minus outflow. But indirect method is not inflow minus outflow. Indirect method means we need to adjust the PBT and we should convert PBT means profit before tax, into cash flow from operating activities. Means some adjustment is required in PBT. What is that adjustment that we need to understand? So thoda sa understanding is required for indirect method. Correct. Now let us come to the format ki how to calculate cash flow from operating activities. First, if I say direct method, to very simple. Means can I say any receipt from operating activities, from that will minus any payment for operating activities. For example, receipt will be what? Any cash sales, any collection from debtor, any cash purchase, any payment to creditor, or any payment for any operating expense. These are what? Inflow and outflow. So that will be understood from the question given. Correct now? So this is very simple. So cash received from operating activities minus cash payment for operating activities. Correct? Are you able to understand? So after this amount means once you deduct all the outflow with all from inflow, we get cash generated from operation. So we'll get what? This figure will be what? Cash generated from operation. From cash generated from operation, we deduct income tax paid. Now what our AS3 says that income tax paid should be shown separately. Therefore, income tax payments should be deducted at the end. So from cash generated from operation, what we deduct? Income tax paid. And that will be what? Cash flow from operating activities. This will become cash flow from operating activities. Now sometimes they will give you some extraordinary item. Now what is the extraordinary item? Which are not ordinary item, that become extraordinary item. The meaning is this only. Correct. Detailed discussion we'll do in AS5. Means any item which are of exceptional nature, you will be able to understand that become extraordinary item. For example, you have received some insurance claim on loss of stock. So if you have received some insurance claim from loss of stock, that become an extraordinary income. So that will be disclosed separately. That will be disclosed separately. So from the information you will be able to understand. Normally they are not asking, but some in some exam they have asked that also. So that will be deducted separately, extraordinary cash inflow and outflow, and then it become net cash flow from operating activities. Understood? Now from same thing we can calculate by using indirect method, but I will come at the end. First let us understand what? Cash flow from investing activities. So investing activities same also, any cash inflow from investing activity minus any cash outflow from investing activities. So when I say inflow can be what? Sale of PP, sale of intangible asset, sale of investment other than cash equivalent. Cash equivalent you have understood. Similarly, purchase of PP, purchase of intangible asset, purchase of any investment. These are what? Inflow and outflow. These are inflow and outflow. Can I say if suppose we are receiving any interest income, that is also investing activity, because interest income we are generating from investment, that will be also in investing activity. So any interest received, any dividend received, any rent received. Suppose we have some investment property. The investment property is an investment and that is given on rent. So rent received will be also what? Investment activity. So that will be also what? Considered as investment activity. So of course you can understand, and this will be what? Net cash flow from investing activities before extraordinary item. And if there is some extraordinary income or expense related to investing activity, that will be disclosed separately, and that will be net cash flow from investing activities. For example, sir, what can be the extraordinary item? Suppose we receive insurance claim on loss of PP. So loss of PP is investing activity. So that insurance claim received on loss of PP will be extraordinary item for investing activity. The loss of stock, it will be operating activity. Loss of PP, it will be investing activities. Understood? Have you understood this point? Correct. I think this is also very simple. Coming to cash flow from financing activities. So any activity which will either increase or decrease equity or increase or decrease borrowing will be what? This activity. For example, issue of equity shares. For example, redemption of preference shares, issue of debenture, redemption of debenture, loan payment, loan repayment, loan receipt, all will be these activities. Apart from that, any interest payment on loan, that will be also this. Any dividend paid on equity shares, whether final dividend, preference dividend, interim dividend, all will come in this. So any dividend paid will be also financing activities. So that you can write down what is plus, what is minus, so that you can understand what is inflow and outflow. This will be net cash flow from financing activities, and if they in this there cannot be any extraordinary item. If suppose they have given, to write down separately, that can be net cash flow from financing activities. This is a simple format. Format is very easy. Can you say when direct question is coming, then to very easy. Direct question is coming, then to very easy. Means if they have given inflow outflow and you need to present it, then it becomes very easy. Correct? Indirect method थोड़ा सा adjustment required. So if it is operating activities and they have asked you to calculate cash flow from operating activities by using indirect method, then some adjustments are required. In that you need to convert PBT into what? Cash flow from operating activities. What are the adjustments required? So first you will take profit before extraordinary item and tax. This will take from SOPL. So profit before extraordinary item and tax. Normally they don't give extraordinary item, so we'll take profit before tax only. So when I am saying profit before tax, it means what? It means you will take profit after tax. Means what is it? Okay. Means can I say in SOPL so they will give profit after tax? In SOPL so there will be profit after tax now. So if you are taking profit after tax, then we should add tax expense, and that will become what? Profit before tax. Normally students are थोड़ा सा confused about this. थोड़ा सा. Correct now? What to add, what not to add, sometimes they are confused. Just try to understand. If suppose, if I am saying in this way, कि this is the SOPL. Suppose this is SOPL. Okay. So they have given profit before tax. And this is what? Tax expense. It can be current tax, deferred tax, correct now. And that is profit after tax. So can I say better we should start from this only? We should start from this only now. If you are starting from this, then add this, then you will come to this. So starting point is what? Profit before tax. So better you start from profit before tax only if you know profit before tax. Are you able to understand? So you can start with PBT. If you want to start, you can start with PAT also. PAT means profit after tax. But if you are starting with PAT, you should add back what? Tax expense. It will become profit before tax. My question to you all, if you start PAT, so this is tax expense, this become PBT, this is 1 lakh, suppose, and suppose this is 20,000. So this will be 1,20,000. Okay. 1,20,000 only na. अरे plus कर देना रे. My mind is not working now. Today I am tired. Okay. So 1 lakh plus 20,000, 1,20,000. 1,20,000. Plus ही करेंगे ना. 1,20,000. My question to you all, at the end we'll deduct income tax paid. Income tax paid. So what will be the payment method? How much will deduct at the end? How much will deduct at the end? 20,000. This is only wrong. Because tax expense and tax payment are two different points. That is tax expense, not tax payment. Understood? So what we add? What is charged to PL? But tax expense and tax payment can be different, na? It can be different. So we need to find out what is tax paid by preparing some account. So this is tax paid. This is tax expense. Understood? So when you are starting with PAT, so you are adding tax expense and you are getting PBT. So tax expense is the expense which is charged to PL, which has been debited to PL. So tax expense and tax payment are two different items. This point have you understood? Have you understood? So I will say better start with PBT only. Jhamela hai khatam. ठीक है? Then adjustment. Then we'll do two adjustment. Two adjustment. एक बार ignore this. Ignore this. Two adjustment because they are not asking exchange gain or loss. So ignore this. There are two major adjustment. One is adjustment of non-cash item. One is adjustment of non-operating item. Because can you say when I am saying non-operating, means it is related to investing and financing activity. So if it is related to investing and financing activity but has been transferred to PL, that should be eliminated. For example, can you give me some example of non-operating item? Purchase of PP will come in SOPL. I am saying any SOPL item. Purchase of PP will be an SOPL item. No. Have you understood my question? You just give me some non-operating item which is already transferred to PL but should be eliminated from PL to calculate cash flow from operating activity. But what? Dividend? Dividend paid. Whether dividend paid is transferred to SOPL. Miss, I am asking what you will do plus minus. What has been debited and credited to SOPL? So you say dividend paid. Whether dividend paid is transferred to SOPL or transferred to PL appropriation account. PL appropriation. Abhi right now we are in SOPL. SOPL. Correct? Any gain on sale of asset, gain or loss on sale of asset. 1 point we get. Chalo. Interest paid ki interest expense. So corrected. Interest expense and interest payment are two different terms. In SOPL, interest expense will come, interest payment will come. Bolo? Suppose interest expense is 1 lakh and payment is 90,000. So how much will eliminate? Confusion, full confusion. Full confusion ho raha hai na? Because I am asking so many questions for the first time. Someone asked so many questions. Because just try to understand. If you want to understand, you need to understand what we are doing. First, what we are doing, just try to. This is SOPL. This is profit and loss account in T format. So we write on all income. We write on all expense now. All expense. This expense can be operating expense. It can be non-operating expense. Correct? This can be operating income. It can be non-operating income. So this become PBT. In which this PBT is calculated by adding what? Non-operating income and deducting what? Non-operating expense. But can you say we should not consider it for cash flow from operating activities. Therefore, from PBT we'll do minus what? Non-operating income plus what? Non-operating expense. Correct? Now that example I'm asking, what are the example? You said interest payment, but interest payment is not correct. Interest expense. Interest expense. Any more example? Dividend? Dividend receive. Dividend income. Dividend income and dividend receive are two different terms. But the dividend receive will be transferred to SOPL. Dividend income will be transferred to SOPL. Dividend income. It is quite possible your dividend income was 1 lakh, but you receive 80,000. So how much will be transferred to PL? 1 lakh 80,000. 1 lakh now, because we prepare account on accrual basis. Even though not received, that become our income. Correct? So say dividend income. Dividend income and dividend receive are two different terms. Okay? Dividend income is correct. Interest expense correct. Gain or loss on sale of asset is correct. Gain or loss on sale of investment is correct. Any more item? Interest income is correct. Depreciation is non-cash item. This is not non-operating. Depreciation is operating but non-cash. We right now have asked only non-operating. Any more example? Yeah, these are all familiar example. Whatever you have said, these are all are familiar example. Normally they ask this only. I hope you have understood. But have you understood my emotions, what I want to say? So examples are what? Gain or loss on sale of investment or PP. Rental income on investment property, rental income also, correct? Interest income also, dividend income also, interest expense also, correct? And this foreign exchange gain or loss will also come, but they are not asking about gain or loss. This I will explain at the end. Can be asked, so this I will explain at the end. Okay, exchange gain or loss I will explain at the end. This much you understood? So we'll do all adjustment for non-operating item as well as all non-cash item, because we want cash flow, so all the non-cash items should be also adjusted. So non-cash expense will be added, non-cash income will be deducted. So can you give me some example of non-cash item? Now don't see book. Bolo. Depreciation, amortization, provision created, expenses written off. What is expense? Preliminary expense written off, but that is now they will not ask. Chalo, ठीक है, preliminary expense written off because you have done this type of questions. You have done amortization of preliminary expenses or outstanding expense. Outstanding expense is non. Outstanding expense will be paid now. Sometimes it will be paid. This depreciation, amortization, this are all our non-cash only. For example, impairment loss, reversal of provision, any provision reverse. Correct now. These all are item. Government amortization of government grant, amortization of deferred income. You have done a government grant receipt, then we are doing amortization. These all are non-cash. All are non-cash. Correct. So these are some example. Depreciation, amortization of goodwill, impairment loss, preliminary expense written off, provision created, reversal of provision. Understood? These are all examples of non-cash. So guys, once you have done this adjustment, this become operating profit before working capital changes. Operating profit before working capital changes. Now we'll do some changes in what? Working capital. So we'll do plus minus based on increase or decrease in asset or increase or decrease in liability. So बताओ, increase in asset will be added or deducted? Increase in asset will be deducted. Very good. This you know. So increase in asset will be deducted. Decrease in asset will be added. Increase in liability will be added. Decrease in liability will be deducted. Anyone who don't know this? This must you know because मजा आ गया. ठीक है. अच्छा. When you are saying increase in asset or decrease in asset or increase in liability or decrease in liability, which asset liability? Current or non-current? Huh? Current asset, current liability. I'll give you example. You say me whether it should be adjusted or not. Correct? For example, debtor. Debtor will be considered creditor, stock, cash and cash equivalent. For you only है. Yes, yes, yes. ऐसा होता है. Think. Other wife will give divorce. Huh? So what happened? You will be married now. Potential. You have potential. You have the potential now. Very smile. Yes. Yes, sir. One day what happened? I asked, there was student who came for CA Foundation way back. It was 7-8 years before I used to teach CA Foundation also. When a student came, so he was very notorious. So I asked, why you are doing CA? For getting wife. So what is this? What is this? Anything. For getting wife means for getting married. Batao. Chalo. CA is very funny course. Means somebody joined, they don't know why they are joining. After CA Foundation, they understand why we have joined. Correct now. But after CA Foundation, they understand why we have joined. Sometimes we join, but we don't know why we are doing CA. Actually, it happens with me. When I passed, I was a good student. So that time, actually, I was from a very small town. Means I have never seen any chartered accountant. Our entire family is from business background, and that is all entire business kacha income. There is no pakka income, no ITR. My father has never made what any CA. So I was not knowing any CA. Correct now. So who is CA? What they do? I was not knowing. Correct. So because I was a good student, so of commerce, what you will do? Everyone says CA. I said, chalo CA. So actually, when I joined CA Foundation, I was not knowing what is CA. Believe me, I was not saying CA, but I just studied, I passed. Then in CA, in our time, after CA Foundation, there was articleship. Then when I joined articleship, then I understand, acha, this is what articleship. Chalo, okay. So cash and cash. Now I am giving some more example. But the stock will be considered. Stock, yes या no? Yes. But then बताओ, bank overdraft, बोलो, yes या no? Interest receivable, yes or no? Sound is decreasing now, धीरे धीरे. Interest receivable, yes or no? Interest payable is a current liability ना? बोलो yes या no? This is current asset, this is current liability. बोलो FD, no. FD, no, FD which is not cash equivalent, more than 3 months. No, चलो ठीक है. Then बताओ, some more example. Salary payable, yes, okay. Then last example I will ask. बताओ, डिवेंचर, yes or no? No. चलो ठीक है. Now one thing is clear that whatever you have said, थोड़ा to understanding, this will come, this will come, this will come, this will not come, this will come. This bank overdraft will not come because this is related to financing activities. So it means we need to take only those current assets, those current liabilities which are related to operating activities. Correct? So interest receivable will also not come. Interest payable will also not come. FD will also not come. This will come. This will not come. Correct? Debenture is to long term, non-current. Understood? Means it is only operating asset and operating liability. Understood? So any current asset, any current liability which are of non-operating nature, that will not be considered. Normally, I will say in CA inter examination, only 2 times they have asked this much difficult question. Normally they don't ask. They have not given interest receivable, interest payable many times in exam. Only 1 or 2 times they have given. Correct? But they can ask. Yes or no? So this become cash generated from operation. From this, if you deduct income tax paid, that become cash flow from operating activities. And once you deduct extraordinary income or payment, that become cash flow from operating activities after extraordinary item. Chalega? Understood? This you have understood. This already I have given as an example. Now, there are some special point. Even though we have understood, there are some special point which we need to understand. And from this multiple choice question में आ सकता है. If there is any operation of banking company or financial company, so if there are some operation of financial company, so can you say for financing company, there are many activities which are operating, which may be normally investing or financing activities. Means for other company, it may be investing or financing, but for banking company, it will be what? Operating activities. For example, purchase and sale of investment for financial company will be what? Operating activity, because that is their business. They will purchase equity shares, etc. That is their business. Similarly, cash advance or loan given will be their operating activity. Any interest received will be their operating activities. Any deposit from public will be their operating activities. Any interest paid on deposit will be also their operating activities. Means for other company which is not financing company, okay, this will be investing activity. This will be also investing activity. This will be investing activity. This will be financing activity. This will be financing activity. If the question is silent, always assume it is not a financial company. If the question is silent, then in exam we'll assume it is not a financial company. Means to conclude, for interest and dividend, for financial company, for other company, correct? But the interest paid, here it will be operating, here it will be financing. Interest received, here it will be operating, here it will be investing. Dividend received, here it will be operating, here it will be investing. Dividend paid, for both it will be what? Because dividend is paid on share capital. So for both it is share capital, but can be dangerous because operating, this will be also operating. No, this will be financing activities, correct? Then for taxes on income, what AS3 say that taxes on income is normally classified as operating activities unless otherwise specified in the question. For example, they have given TDS on interest received. So TDS on interest received is which activity? Therefore, TDS deducted on that will be also investing activities. So unless specified in the question, that will be always operating activities, but they have specified, then it will be what? Investing or financing activity. For example, if I say any investment, any long-term asset has been sold, long-term property, long-term investment property has been sold, I mean there is a long-term gain and there is a tax paid on that. So investment property is sold, long-term capital gain arises and tax paid on that. So that tax will be which activity? Investing activities, because we have sold what? Investment property. Do you know about corporate dividend tax? Now it has been withdrawn. It has been withdrawn. Do you know about corporate dividend tax? No, to chhod do. This will not come. Because now it has been withdrawn. Okay? But suppose if I say any tax paid on dividend paid. So because dividend paid is what? Financing activity. So any tax paid on dividend paid will be also what? Financing activity. But now that will not come because it has been withdrawn. Now any non-cash transaction. So if there is some financing activities or investing activity which do not involve cash movement. For example, suppose you purchase asset by issue of equity shares. So what journal entry you have done? Asset account debit to equity share capital. So asset account debit means investing activity, equity share capital means financing activity, but there is no movement of cash. So this will not be shown in cash flow statement. This will be shown only as a notes to account. Okay? So any non-cash transaction will be excluded from what? Cash flow statement, even though that involve investing or financing activities. For example, debenture converted to equity share capital. So debenture decrease, equity share capital increase. But can I say there is no movement of cash and cash equivalent. Therefore, it will not be included in cash flow statement. Understood? Correct? So there can be some example you can read. The last point is foreign currency cash flow. This is some special point, but have you understood this much? Have you understood this much? Correct? You want me to take some questions? You have time to bother. So we'll take some questions. Simple question or interesting question? Interesting. चलो अच्छा फर्स्ट कैन यू फास्ट में बोलेंगे आई एम गिविंग यू आइटम यू से ऑपरेटिंग इन्वेस्टिंग फाइनेंसिंग ओके फास्ट हाँ परचेज ऑफ मशीनरी proceed from issue of equity share capital cash sale proceed from long term borrowing check collected from trade receivable cash receivable from trading commission received purchase of investment redemption of preference shares cash purchase proceed from sale of investment, purchase of goodwill, goodwill is what? Non-current asset. So how it can be financing activity? Investing activity. Okay. Cash paid to supplier, interim dividend paid, wages, proceed from sale of patent. Interesting. Interest received on debenture held as investment. Interest paid on long-term borrowing, office and admin expense paid, manufacturing overhead paid, dividend received on share held as investment, rent received on property, selling and distribution, income tax paid, dividend paid on preference shares, underwriting commission paid, because it is paid on equity shares. Very good. Rent paid, brokerage paid on purchase of investment, bank overdraft, cash credit. Cash credit is also one type of loan. ठीक है, bank overdraft is similar to loan. Short term deposit. That is a good question. Nothing has been given. So nothing has been given. ठीक है, तो short term deposit, it can be, deposit means deposit given, so you can consider it as investing activities. Okay, nothing has been given. ठीक है, highly liquid marketable securities without risk of changes in value. So what? Cash and, whenever in exam they give marketable securities, nothing is given, we'll always assume it is cash and cash equivalent. They have given marketable securities, nothing is given. From exam point of view, we'll assume it is cash and cash equivalent. Refund of income tax received, operating activities. Chalo, done. This to you all can do ना, हाँ कर लोगे ना. This is one of the favorite question which institute is asking, because good question for 10 marks. Take what question I have given. You want me to take how many questions? I have taken many questions. One question I will take. Indirect method. Chalo, I'll take this good question only. Can I take good question? So I am taking good question only. Okay. I am taking one good question. Okay. Question 26. From the following balance sheet and information prepare cash flow statement of Ryan Limited by using indirect method. Okay, sir. Share capital, reserve and surplus, long-term borrowing, trade payable, other current liabilities, short-term provision, provision for tax. Short-term provision is provision for tax. PP, non-current investment, inventory, trade receipt, cash and cash equivalent, other current asset. Share capital has equity share capital. So this is opening, this is closing. You can see increase. So write down increase here. How to react? So now, how to do in exam? Whenever increase, decrease. Now, so write down increase, decrease by reading the question only. So it is increase, now write down increase. 10% redeemable preference, decrease, so write down decrease. And so you should do in this way, so that you are able to understand whether it is increase or decrease. Reserve and surplus is not so much important, so isko hatao. Means we'll do whenever required. Correct na, so we'll do as per the information given the question. Increase, decrease will not take na. The 9% debenture increase, dividend payable decrease, liability for expense increase, PP increase, land and building decrease. Okay. And there are some item given directly here na. Long term borrowing we have taken na. Trade payable increase, the current liabilities. Short term provision increase, Non-current investment, decrease. Inventory, increase. Trade receivable, increase. Cash we don't require. Other current asset, increase. Chalo. Now, a piece of land has been sold out of rupees 1,50,000, cost to rupees 1,20,000, and the balance land was revalued. Capital reserve consists of profit on revaluation land. Now, it means for land some information has been given. So for land, just write down point number A. So it means you need to prepare a land and building account. Okay? On 1st April 2000, the plant was sold. So for plant, write down point number B. So for plant also you need to prepare one account. Okay, we read after. Then part, what happened? Acha, debentures worth rupees 1 lakh where is to will do with the plant na. ठीक है. Means it was purchased and debenture worth rupees 1 lakh issued as a part consideration for plant and machinery purchase. Means there are some purchase of PP in exchange of debenture. That will become non-cash transaction. Non-cash transaction. Then part of investment sold. So investment will add a point number. Investment is where? Point number C. Correct? Okay. Then pre-acquisition dividend received was adjusted against cost of investment. Thank you very much. We know pre-acquisition dividend received will be deducted from cost price of investment. Correct? Okay. Interim dividend was declared and paid during the year. But the interim dividend was declared and paid. To interim dividend was paid. Income tax liability for current year was estimated at rupees 1,35,000. So we have one provision for tax account also. Where is the provision for tax? Short term provision. Right now, which point? Whatever. Okay. Then depreciation at a rate of 15% has been charged on plant and machinery, but no depreciation has been charged on building. These are the entire question. Now, first I will say, first whenever this question, now don't start with the format. First prepare all the account. All the account. Now, if you see ICS solution, so they first do main solution supported by working note. But in exam, it is not possible. Because how much space you will leave for main solution, you don't know. So I will say first prepare all the account and then you can start with the main solution. No one will deduct your marks. No one will deduct marks for that. Okay, sir. So let us first prepare what? All the working note. First working note is land and building. So land and building account. You have the question? Have the question? So can you give me opening balance? So land and building opening balance is what? 2 lakh. So opening balance is 2 lakh. Closing balance what? You should also do. Don't say me. Do. Everyone do. 1,50,000. Don't see. Observation will not help you. Do it. Till you do it by your own, you will not be able to understand. Do it. Okay. Then what is given in point number A? A piece of land was sold out for 1,50,000, whose cost price was 1,20,000. So how much gain? So by bank, it was sold for what price? 1 lakh. So by bank, we write down 1 lakh. And gain is what? So we write down 2 PL account, how much? Gain na? 30,000. 30,000. Correct. And the balance was revalued. Capital reserve consists of profit on revaluation of land. Means can I say the balancing figure will be revaluation? Balancing figure will be revaluation. So what is the balancing figure? Batao. So 70,000 will be transferred to capital reserve. Capital reserve. But this entry is correct or wrong? Means the revaluation of land should be transferred to capital reserve or revaluation reserve. So in this chapter, we are not here to rectify anything. I mean, this chapter is not for rectification. Whatever they have done, that only will follow. Because we are here to find out bank, cash and bank movement. So this chapter is not for rectification. So don't become emotional. So how it can be transferred to capital reserve. Don't apply AS10. Whatever they have done, that you follow. Understood? The first account done. Now, whenever you prepare account, so 2 items is important. One is bank is important, one is PL is important. PL because it is indirect method, to it will be adjusted, and bank means movement. So two item is important, PL and bank. Understood? Next account we will prepare what? Plant and machinery. So plant and machinery. So can you give me opening balance? 5 lakh. Can you give me closing balance? 7 lakh 65,000. Okay, sir. Then what is given? Point number B. On 1st April 2000, plant was sold for rupees 90,000, original cost 70,000, and WDB is how much? 50,000. It means WDB is 50,000. It was sold for rupees 90,000, because right now in this there is no accumulated depreciation account. It means we are not supposed to think about accumulated depreciation account. We want net amount. Net amount is 50,000. 50,000 is sold at what? 90,000. So what is the profit? We read on buy bank. It was sold at what? 90,000. To gain. Gain means transfer to PL. How much? 40,000 is transfer to PL. Okay. Then what they have given? And debenture worth rupees 1 lakh were issued at a part consideration for plant and machinery of 4.5 lakh acquired. Means can you say they have acquired another plant and machinery? So to bank, how much they paid in cash? So out of 4.5 lakh, 1 lakh was for debenture. So balance 3.5 is paid in cash. So we write on 3 lakh 50,000 is paid in cash. And balance is debenture. Balance is debenture. Debenture is what? 1 lakh. Debenture is 1 lakh. Correct. Understood. And can I say in this depreciation will also come? So we write down by depreciation. By depreciation. Correct. Now depreciation rate is what? 15%. Depreciation rate is 15%. Okay. Now how to calculate depreciation? You can see plant was sold at the beginning of the year on 1st April, and new machinery was also purchased at the beginning of the year only. Both the transaction has been done at the beginning of the year. It means can I say whatever has been sold at the beginning of the year, no depreciation on that, and whatever has been purchased for entire depreciation will be charged. So how to calculate depreciation? Batao. Can I say in this way? Ki 5 lakh was the opening balance. Out of this, how much sold? 50,000 sold. WDB 50,000. So on 4 lakh 50,000, you need to charge depreciation. And then again you purchase what? 4 lakh 50,000. So then this also entire depreciation, 12-month depreciation. So on 9 lakh you need to charge depreciation. 9 lakh into 15%, how much? 1 lakh 35,000. And you will see the balancing figure is coming how much? Check karo. Balancing figure will be also 1,35,000. Check kar lo. Don't now calculate as a balancing figure. What is the balancing figure of this account? It means if suppose some other missing figure was there, then you could have calculated like this. Understood now? But everything is given, so balancing figure will be depreciation only. Balancing figure will be depreciation only. Got this point? Now depreciation is transferred to PL. Depreciation is transferred to PL. So what is transferred to PL? Write down PL. So two things is important: bank and PL. Bank and PL. Understood? Correct. Then we to prepare one investment account. Can we prepare investment account? What is the opening balance? 80,000. What is the closing balance? 50,000. 50,000. And they gave part of the investment, cost price 50,000 was sold for rupees 70,000. So what is the bank? 70,000. What is the gain? Gain transfer to PL how much? 20,000. Correct. So what is the balancing? And there is one pre-acquisition dividend. So So pre-acquisition dividend will be deducted from cost price of, so let them bank only, this is dividend. So how much pre-acquisition dividend? 5,000. So this will be also transferred to what? Investment account as per AS 13. Now what is the balancing figure of this account? Check karo. 20,000 in the debit side na. So that will be purchased during the year. So how much purchased during the year? 25,000 is purchased during the year. Understood? Correct? Understood? 3 account understood? Then provision for income tax account. But what is the opening balance they have given? Opening balance. Opening balance for provision for income tax.
Opening is 60,000.
How much?
60,000.
60,000 na? 60,000. Closing balance 95,000. And what they have given, check karo question mein ki income tax liability for current year, means this is income tax liability for current year, means income tax expense is given. The income tax expense of current year, that will be charged to PL. So by PL how much? 1,35,000. So how much paid? How much paid? 1 lakh has been paid. So this is the balance figure. Understood? Have you understood? Now, can you see in this question they have not given net profit. So whenever net profit is not given, always prepare one PL appropriation account. Or you can do plus minus also. I will always suggest what? Prepare PL appropriation account, you will never do mistake. Okay? But the PL appropriation is come to reserve and surplus. Now PL account, what is the opening balance? PL appropriation 50,000. What is the closing balance? 1 lakh. Understood? Correct. Now one thing is clear, that this capital reserve is created due to this 70,000. You can see there was one, this was 70,000 now. So this capital reserve is not required. Correct. But you can see during the year CRR is also created, and there is some movement in general reserve. You need to understand what is that movement. So let us prepare one general reserve account. General reserve account. What is the opening balance? 2,50,000. What is the closing balance? 1,50,000. Now you only say CRR is created from which reserve? Free reserve. And first we'll use general reserve only. So it means during the year CRR is created by what amount? 1 lakh. That is understood. Correct. So what is the balancing figure of this account? 0. Means general reserve there is no movement. General reserve is no movement. Understood? If suppose some balancing figure is coming in general reserve account, that is through PL account. So that should be adjusted in PL appropriation account. That may be transferred from PL to general reserve. So general reserve no movement, CRR no movement, capital reserve no movement. Only we need to understand PL account. Any dividend paid during the year, check karo. Any dividend paid, some additional information will be given. Interim dividend paid. Interim were declared and paid at a rate of 15% for the current year. So interim dividend paid, how much? It is of which amount? 5 lakh or 6 lakh? 5 lakh or 6 lakh? That depends upon assumption. If 1 lakh has been issued at the beginning of the year, at the end of the year. Correct now? So I will say whenever nothing is given, always assume it is issued at the beginning of the year. Always assume. Let's see what assumption they have taken. Let's see what is the dividend they have taken. Dividend paid, how much they have taken? How much they have taken? 1,50,000 they have taken. How? 6 lakh ka 15%? 1,80,000. There is some more dividend given. There is some dividend. अच्छा, dividend payable account is also there. अच्छा, ठीक है, okay. चलो ठीक है. There is some dividend payable account also. Correct. There is some dividend payable account also ना. चलो. Now, now write down. This is not required, but only to explain dividend payable account. Now, dividend payable account is how much? By opening balance, how much? Opening balance, how much? 60,000. And closing balance what? Nil. It means, can I say this is the final dividend of previous year paid in current year? It means to bank how much? 60,000. To bank 60,000. Means this is dividend paid, dividend of last year paid in current year. Last year paid in current year. And no dividend payable means no final dividend. No, nothing has been proposed for current year. Nothing has been proposed for current year. Understood? So this dividend of last year paid in current year. And 6 lakh ka 15% how much? 90. 90 plus 60 how much? How much they have taken? They have taken 1,50,000 only na. That is only. So it means interim dividend is paid in current year. So interim dividend of current year will be appropriated in current year. So we write down in this two interim dividend. How much? How much? 90,000 na? 90,000. Understood. And the difference will be what? Net profit of the year. What is the net profit? Means PAT. This is PAT. Profit after tax. Profit after tax is what? 1,40,000. Understood. So this become your starting point for what? Operating activities. But it is PAT, not PBT. Understood. Now, more or less all the working note has been done. Now we can start what? Cash flow from operating activities. Again, I said I have taken good question. Huh? Chalo. Plus ki minus? Minus. Then what? Depreciation. How much? Plus ki minus? Plus. Plant and machinery also done. Are you able to understand? In this we will never do mistake. This is step by step. Okay? Plant and machinery done. Then which account? Investment account. Investment में any PL item? So gain on sale of investment. How much? Plus ki minus? Minus. Minus done. That is also done. Correct. After that, which account? Income tax done. Then PL already we have taken net profit, all account done. Once you have done this, then one point you can do mistake. You can see they have given debenture. And this is 9% debenture. It means there is some interest expense. Even though not given in the question, but interest will be paid now. And that will be charged to PL. So that is implied point. That is implied point. So think about always debenture interest, even though question is silent. So 9%, and you can see this 2 lakh. Out of this 2 lakh, 1 lakh was due to plant and machinery, and 1 lakh will be issued in cash. But can you see what if nothing is given? For 1 lakh, so they have given for plant and machinery that was issued at the beginning. And if nothing is given for balance 1 lakh, you will always assume it is also issued at the beginning only. If question is always silent, always assume issued at the beginning of the year. So 2 lakh is issued at the beginning of the year. So 2 lakh entire debentures will be charged to profit and loss account. So 2 lakh ka 9% how much? 80,000. So on debenture interest expense 2 lakh into what? 9% ना, 18,000 plus की minus plus, done. I think all item done. Correct. So this become, we call it operating profit before working capital changes. How much it is coming?
3 lakh 38,000.
3 lakh. Chalo, our answer match. 3,38,000. 3,38,000 answer match. Okay. Okay. Now we'll do working capital changes. Means all the operating asset and operating liability. One by one you will give me increase, decrease. Only operating asset, operating liability, current asset, current liability. Start karo. Start from balance sheet item. Balance sheet item. अरे इतना टाइम. Start from balance sheet ना. Oh. Start from, this is balance sheet. Start from asset. PP will not come. Inventory. Inventory is plus की minus. Increase. Already increase in inventory. हाँ तो बोलो. Increase in inventory. How much increase? Plus की minus. Minus. Then what? Increase, decrease. तो increase in trade receivable how much? Minus की plus. Minus. Cash and cash will come. Nalayak. It will not come यहाँ पर. Then other current asset. Increase in other current asset. How much? Plus की minus. So current asset done. Now come to current liability. So there is trade payable. Trade payable increase. Increase in trade payable how much? 5,000. Add. Then what? Other current liability. Other current liability they have given note. So go to note. Other current liability they have dividend payable will not come. Liability for expense will come. So the liability for expense increase or decrease? The liability for expense how much? 10,000. Done. All point done. Now this become cash generated from operation. Cash generated from operations. How much? How much? So we have done correct. 2 lakh. From this will minus what? Income tax paid. How much income tax paid as per account? 1 lakh. No, what you said? 1,35,000 was expense. See the account. Don't say directly. Bank is what? 1 lakh. One mistake. What happened? They will deduct marks. How much? You need to mark them. Okay? Now this amount will come in outer column. Write in outer column. So 1,88,000 become your final answer. So here we write down net cash flow from operating activities. No done. So having this a process. If you do in hodgepodge manner, you will never understand what to do. Hodgepodge means this. No. First working note. Then identify how much bank, how much PL. So PL item will be adjusted in operating activities. All the PL item. That only student confused. So that PL is very important to identify what has been transferred to PL. And to calculate that net profit is also very important from PL appropriation account. Normally students don't know how to calculate what net profit only. They are confused there only. The first point is only wrong. Correct. Now it is easy. Now I can show from K. This is easy. Now coming to cash flow from investing activity. First come to land account. Batao, what is purchase, what is sale in land? Land account we have drawn na. So what is there? Check karo. Sale of land, how much? Are bolo. 1,50,000. Come. Then plant and machinery. Sale or purchase? Sale of plant and machinery, then investment account. Sale of investment na, but investment is purchase also na. In plant there was purchase also. So plant of purchase how much? 3,50,000. And investment purchase how much? 25,000. And there was one pre-acquisition dividend received. Bank. So dividend received what? 5,000. This become net cash flow from investing activities. Then coming to financing activity, equity share capital, increase, decrease in balance sheet. 1 lakh it was increased, 5 lakh become 6 lakh. So this is issue of equity share capital, increase. Then redemption, redeemable preference, increase, decrease. Redeemable preference shares, increase. So decrease. So redemption of preference share 2 lakh. Debenture increase, decrease. 2 lakh, but out of that 1 lakh was non-cash transaction, so 1 lakh increase. Then dividend paid already we calculated how much? It is 90 plus 60, 1,50,000. Okay. And interest paid on debenture how much? 18,000. This become net cash flow from financing activity. Then you can find out net increase, opening, closing will match. This is the entire process. Understood? But for this type of question, practice to required. For big question, direct question normally which they are asking, you can do it because plus minus you know. What is operating activity, investing activity, you know. Understood? Now exchange gain or loss they are not asking. You want me to explain? They are not asking at CA inter level. That is a part of CA final. But if they ask, don't blame me. There is a disclaimer already I have given. Okay. So from my point of view, this chapter you can manage. What I understood from CA inter student, this chapter is easy. Why? Because in class only we have done a lot of practice. This chapter we have done a lot of practice. And all are similar type of question. Okay. Exactly 5. So can I teach one more chapter? Huh? Yeah, but because tomorrow is the last day, then AS 13 will be left. Tomorrow I will extend. Last day. AS 13 ka one part let me teach. There are two parts. One is fixed income, one is variable income. One part. AS 28 can I take? Only half an hour. Huh? AS 4 में क्या कल ही कर देंगे. Let me teach what. अच्छा सुनो. Only 5 now. अभी तो sun is also with us. Moon has not came. Sun is with us and moon has not came. Okay. Till moon came we can study. Huh? Only 1 hour. Tomorrow will extend. But tomorrow is the last day. AS 13 will take 3 hours. 5 plus 3 means 8 up to 8 I will teach. So you will not come only. That I can teach any chapter. You say you want to study AS4. Chal Jindabad AS4. AS4 can I teach? Chalo, ठीक है. But I hope you are. Oh, very good, excellent. I like you. This type of student I like. Only one.